70%, that is the number Netflix does not put in its press releases. When the next episode autoplays, you are 70% more likely to keep watching than if you had to press a button yourself. One number, one feature, engineered to make the choice for you before you even realize a choice was available. By the end of this video, you will never watch that countdown timer the same way again. Netflix introduced autoplay in 2012, not because users were asking for it, because Netflix was studying what made people stay and what made them leave. And they found something uncomfortable. The moment a viewer had to decide whether to keep watching, a percentage of them decided to stop. That pause, that 5-second window of free will, was costing Netflix subscribers, so they eliminated it. That is not a feature, that is an intervention. The official story is simple and it sounds reasonable. Netflix says autoplay reduces friction. It makes the experience smoother. You do not have to hunt for the remote or click through menus. You just sit back and the story continues. And honestly, if that were the whole story, this would be a 2-minute video. But friction removal is not the goal. Friction removal is the mechanism. The goal is something else entirely. Here is exactly how this works. Your brain has two systems for making decisions. One is fast, automatic, and lazy. The other is slow, deliberate, and effortful. Netflix's autoplay is specifically designed to keep you in the fast system. When an episode ends and that 15-second countdown begins, your slow brain, the one that might say, hey, it's midnight, I have work tomorrow, never gets activated. The timer creates urgency. Urgency shuts down deliberation. And before your rational mind can weigh in, the next episode has already started. Psychologists call this decision fatigue bypass. You are not choosing to keep watching. You are just not choosing to stop. And those are very different things. There is a psychological principle at work here called loss aversion. Dr. Susan Weinschenk, a behavioral psychologist who has studied interface design for decades, explains it this way. Autoplay removes the moment where you might feel okay stopping. Instead, it creates a subtle sense that stopping now means missing something already in motion. The episode has started, stopping feels like a loss. Continuing feels like the default. Defaults are incredibly powerful. Studies on default settings across industries from retirement savings to organ donation consistently show that people stick with whatever option requires the least action. Netflix did not stumble onto this. They designed for it. Now let's talk about who made this decision and why the incentive structure behind it matters. Netflix is a subscription business. Every month, you either stay or you cancel. The industry term for cancellation is churn. In 2012, when autoplay launched, Netflix was in a fierce battle with cable, Hulu, and the early days of Amazon Prime. Reducing churn by even 1% across a subscriber base that now exceeds 260 million people is worth hundreds of millions of dollars annually. A Deloitte study found that 55% of consumers say they prefer streaming platforms that offer autoplay. But preference and benefit are not the same thing. People also prefer all-you-can-eat buffets. That does not mean the buffet is good for them. Netflix's internal teams, specifically their product and growth divisions, ran thousands of A/B tests on interface decisions. Autoplay was not an accident or a casual add-on. It was a tested, optimized, deliberately retained feature because the data showed it increased session time. Longer session time means higher satisfaction scores in Netflix's internal metrics. Higher satisfaction scores reduce the likelihood of cancellation. The feature that feels like a convenience is actually a retention tool. Here is the evidence that this goes beyond just playing the next episode. Netflix also autoplays trailers on the browsing screen. You hover over a title, and within seconds, a preview starts playing with sound. That was introduced in 2016. Users complained immediately and loudly. Netflix kept it anyway for years because their data showed it increased clicks on content. Your annoyance was a worthy trade for their engagement metric. In 2020, after sustained backlash, Netflix finally added an option to turn off auto-playing previews. But they did not make that option easy to find. It is buried in your account settings under Manage Profiles, not in the app itself. They designed the path to comfort to be inconvenient. Think about what that tells you about their priorities. Now let's talk about what this actually costs you. Netflix's own survey found that 61% of users binge watch regularly. Binge watching is defined as watching 3 or more episodes in a single sitting. A standard episode of a drama runs about 45 to 55 minutes. 3 episodes is roughly 2.5 hours. If autoplay pushes you to watch just 1 additional episode per session, and you stream 4 times per week, that is an extra 3 to 4 hours per week you did not plan to spend. Over a year, that is between 150 and 200 hours. That is more than 4 full work weeks of your time, extracted by a 15-second countdown timer, and while your time is being consumed, Netflix is collecting data. Every pause, every rewind, every moment you fall asleep and the show keeps running, all of that feeds the algorithm that decides what gets made, what gets promoted, and what gets canceled. You are not just a subscriber, you are a data point being optimized. So what can you actually do? First, turn off autoplay. Go to netflix.com on a browser, not the app. Click your profile icon, select Manage Profiles, choose your profile, and uncheck Autoplay Next Episode. It takes 45 seconds. Second, use the sleep timer on your TV or device. Most smart TVs now have them. Third, recognize what the countdown timer is doing. When you see it, you are watching a designed psychological nudge in real time. Naming it breaks its power. And finally, the most infuriating detail I saved for last. In 2022, Netflix introduced a feature called Play Something. 1 button, it picks a show or movie for you based on your history and starts playing it immediately. No browsing, no choosing, no deciding. Netflix is not just removing friction from your choices anymore, they are removing the choice itself. The logical endpoint of autoplay was always this, a platform that watches for you. Follow this channel. We post the real reason behind things every single day.